Did you know? There were initially two 16-bit versions of Aladdin produced. A Sega Genesis version was developed by Virgin Games, and a completely different version was made by Capcom for the Super Nintendo. The Genesis version had an advantage over the Super Nintendo version due to Virgin's partnership with Disney. All of the in-game character animations were hand-drawn by Disney's own animators, which the game's designers traced over and painstakingly converted into sprites. According to Capcom designer Shinji Mikami, the Japanese box art was originally going to feature Genie, but Disney asked him to remove the character. Virgin designer David Perry stated that due to bad relations between Disney and actor Robin Williams, usage of the Genie was avoided. Williams accepted the role of the Genie for just $75,000 after a positive experience with Disney's Touchstone Pictures, who produced Good Morning Vietnam. However, this deal came with a condition that Williams' name and likeness wouldn't be used for marketing the film or its merchandise. He also requested that his character would not occupy more than 25% of any promotional material. Needless to say, Disney did not stick with these conditions. This led to a falling out between Williams and Disney, which affected Williams' role in future Aladdin productions, and made promoting the Aladdin video games quite difficult. Despite any marketing hang-ups, Aladdin would go on to become the third best-selling game on the Genesis, only being outsold by Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2. Disney's partnership with Virgin continued into the 90s, with the adaptation of a Lion King video game. This time, development was handled by Westwood Studios, who were supposed to receive help from Virgin Games. However, David Perry had a falling out with the higher-ups involved, and left the company with a majority of his staff. This meant Westwood had to develop a game on their own. Disney was also directly involved in The Lion King, which often led to the designers butting heads with the animators. In one instance, the animators said that Simba shouldn't be able to change directions in mid-air, as it was unrealistic and a convincing animation could not be produced, although it was ultimately deemed a necessary part of the game. In addition to this, the monkey enemies originally threw poop at the player. But this idea was shot down by Disney. Because the movie was in production at the same time, Westwood was given concept art and storyboards to help with planning, as well as being allowed to sit in on production meetings. At one meeting, Disney chairman Jeffrey Katzenberg made the decision to cut out a large portion of the movie detailing Simba's journey back to the Pride Lands. Westwood had already adapted these scenes as levels in the game, and had to lobby hard to keep them from being removed. Perhaps the most notorious level in the game is the infamous monkey puzzle. Lewis Castle, the director of the game, explained in a Devs Play video with Double Fine that the level was made harder on purpose. Castle said, "At the time, Blockbuster had these rental programs that had just come out, and Disney had a rule across all of its products that you couldn't get past a certain percentage of the game in a certain period of time. So the only level in the early levels where we had the ability in the 11th hour, literally, to make it longer and more complicated was the monkey puzzle. The reason we had to do it was the rental market. People would rent the game, and if they got past a certain point in the game, the metrics from Disney said they wouldn't buy the game." Like Aladdin, The Lion King was ported to several other systems, including a disastrous version for Windows 95. Compaq Computers made a deal with Disney to ship their new Presario computers with The Lion King pre-installed as a hot-ticket item for the Christmas shopping season. While the game was tested to work with Windows 95, it was not tested to work with the Presario's new hardware. So on Christmas morning, thousands tried to play the game on their new computer, only to have it crash instantly. The incident soured public perception of Windows 95, and to prevent similar incidents in the future, Microsoft began working on the DirectX software suite. In order to regain favor with gamers, they also worked to secure Windows ports of other popular games. The most notable title among these was Doom, and Doom isn't the only video game series that was impacted by The Lion King. During development of the game, Westwood made improvements to their proprietary lossless compression technologies. Their compression was so advanced that the team's sound designer received a letter from Hans Zimmer commending his work on incorporating the movie's soundtrack onto the cartridge. Westwood would then put their advanced tools to use in their development of Command & Conquer, one of the first real-time strategy games that also featured groundbreaking full-motion video cutscenes. In addition to their movies, Disney also produced games based on their cartoon series. DuckTales for the NES featured a secret bad ending, which can be seen by beating the final boss with $0. Doing so would result in an epilogue where Scrooge McDuck loses all his money and has to use the treasures he collected to rebuild his fortune. At one point in the Amazon level, a statue demands the player pay $300,000 to proceed. In the remastered version of the game, this same statue can be found, although it no longer asks to be paid off. Destroying it earns an achievement called Score to Settle. DuckTales Remastered added fully voiced cutscenes with all the surviving members of the original DuckTales TV cast.
Thanks for the lift, Launchpad.
No problemo. Lift is one of my favorite principles of aerodynamics.
This included Alan Young and June Foray, who were 94 and 96 years old, respectively.
Magic at the spell. Ach, I should have known you'd be behind this.
Oh, Scroogey, my old friend, you wouldn't believe how much fun it is watching you run around making a fool of yourself.
Capcom's first Disney game, Mickey Mousecapade, hides one of the company's more obscure secrets. Opening up the cartridge reveals the shape of Mickey Mouse's head soldered onto the game board. At the end of the Wii game, Epic Mickey, Mickey's calendar shows the date November 18th. This is the release date of Steamboat Willie, the very first Mickey cartoon from 1928. November 18th was also the release date for Epic Mickey 2 in North America. While Disney produced a number of Oswald cartoons, Universal owned the rights to the character. In order to acquire the rights to use Oswald in Epic Mickey, Disney struck a deal with Universal and traded sportscaster Al Michaels to get Oswald back. Al Michaels commented on the trade, saying Oswald is definitely worth more than a fourth-round draft choice. I'm going to be a trivia answer someday. Originally, Mickey would turn into Thinner Mickey if the player used too much paint thinner. Every evil action by the player would also erase Mickey's paint, revealing more of his line art as Thinner Mickey. The idea was scrapped as Disney didn't want to risk tarnishing Mickey's reputation as a hero. An Epic Mickey movie was proposed to Disney, but was never approved. According to Warren Spector, he even put together a trailer, budget, and a potential team for his pitch to Disney. And in case you didn't know, there's also a number of unofficial Disney games, some of which are more shocking than you may believe. But if you want to see that, you'll have to click this annotation or the link below to watch my video on bootleg Disney games. Don't forget to like and subscribe, Stay beautiful.